Welcome to this training video on how to use Nouse. During this video you will learn how to set up and calibrate Nouse, understand the basic functions of the Nouse cursor, and use the Nouse cursor to make selections on screen and on the Nouse board. Part 1. Set up and calibrate Nouse. The user of Nouse should be seated comfortably in front of their computer. The ideal distance away from the webcam is approximately an arm's length. The webcam should be directed toward the user, but a specific angle is not needed. When the user logs into their computer, Nouse starts automatically and the user is presented with a window that provides video feedback of the webcam connected to the computer. Next, Nouse needs to determine where the user's nose is located. This is called the calibration mode. The user must be still through the calibration mode as the application learns what the user's nose looks like, and can then track the nose as it moves in any direction. Once a face is found, a box is drawn around the face, and the application will zoom in to only view the user's face. The application then presents the window with a green crosshair as it learns the user's nose. The user should ensure their nose is on the crosshair. Once the countdown reaches 0, the application starts and the user can navigate the mouse cursor. Please note that there are 3 important items to consider during the calibration process in order for it to be successful. The first is to make sure that the user's entire face is in the camera view. Second, ensure that there is good lighting in the room. And third, keep the user's head still during the calibration. Part 2. The basic functions of the Nouse cursor. The main component of Nouse is the Nouse cursor. The Nouse cursor is the equivalent of a standard computer mouse arrow icon. It is the pointing device that tells the computer what the user is looking to do on the screen. The Nouse cursor appears on the screen as a square box and consists of 5 components designed to provide the user with feedback on what action is being executed. The first component is the purple pointing component. This can be found in the top left-hand corner of the Nouse cursor. The computer uses the top left-hand corner as the pointer. Pointing to an item on the screen means moving your Nouse cursor so the pointer, or the top left-hand corner, appears to be touching the item. When you point to something, a small box often appears that describes the item. Second is the red circle component. This component is used to display where the tip of the user's nose is located. Third is the black crosshair component. This component works with the red circle to assist the user in understanding how to navigate the Nouse cursor on the screen. We will see how this works in the next section of training. Fourth is the text component, and it's found at the bottom of the Nouse cursor. This component provides feedback to the user with respect to which action or mode is active for the Nouse cursor. The feedback is provided using words, for example, joystick, and color changes, for example, blue to yellow. Fifth, there's the user's face background component. In the background of the Nouse cursor is the video feed of the user's face. The user can see their face and more specifically where their nose is located. There are 2 modes for navigating the computer mouse, joystick and direct modes. With joystick mode, the movement of the Nouse cursor is determined by the position of the nose relative to the center of the black crosshair component of the Nouse cursor. The location of the nose is represented by the red circle component of the Nouse cursor. When the user's nose, or red circle, is in the center of the crosshair, the Nouse cursor remains still. If the user moves their nose slightly away from the center of the crosshair in any direction, the Nouse cursor will move slowly in that direction across the screen and will continue to move until the user brings their nose back to the center of the crosshair. Note that the further away the user moves their nose from the center of the crosshair, the faster the Nouse cursor will move. Second, there's the direct navigation mode. And with this mode, the movement of the Nouse cursor is mapped directly to the user's nose movements. So it feels as if the Nouse cursor is directly attached to their nose. If the user's nose moves to the far left of their range of motion, the Nouse cursor will immediately go to the far left of the screen. The same will be true for the movement to any location on the screen. In direct mode, the user can typically move the Nouse cursor faster than in joystick mode. However, in direct mode, it is more difficult to select a very precise location on the screen, as any movement of the user's nose will cause a movement of the Nouse cursor. Please note that if you want to change Nouse modes, you need to do so in the Settings program and restart Nouse application. Part 3. Use the Nouse cursor to make selections on screen and on the Nouse board. Now let's take a look at how we can use Nouse to click and select things on screen. Nouse allows the user to reproduce the clicks of a standard computer mouse. The standard mouse has a left click, right click, drag, and double click. When the user needs to utilize a mouse click, all they need to do is move the Nouse cursor to the desired clicking location and stop the Nouse cursor at the clicking point. Once the Nouse cursor is still for about 1 to 2 seconds, the user will see a countdown begin. The default countdown starts at 3 and counts down to 0. If the user does not move the Nouse cursor during the countdown, then when the counter hits 0, the Nouse cursor moves to the first level clicking mode, and the text component of the Nouse cursor becomes green and displays the word click. Once the user is in clicking mode, the user has one of 4 clicking choices. 1. Move the nose left in order to perform a left click. 2. Move the nose right in order to perform a right click. 3. Move the nose down in order to perform a double click. And 4. Move the nose up in order to bring up a submenu of other actions. These include drag, pause, Nouse board, recalibrate, settings, disable, and exit. The user can select the desired action from the submenu by moving the Nouse cursor up or down along the menu options, holding for the countdown, and then selecting the left click. First, there's drag option. When the user selects the drag submenu option, a letter D is drawn in the top left corner of the Nouse cursor, and the user is in standard mouse drag mode. In order to stop dragging, the user must click again in the desired stop location. Pause option. At times the user will need to temporarily stop the actions of the Nouse cursor from being active, for example when the user is watching a movie or reading a document. In order to inactivate or pause the Nouse cursor, press the pause button. In pause mode, the Nouse cursor disappears from the screen and only the standard mouse pointer can be seen. To exit the pause mode, the user simply moves the standard cursor to the bottom right corner of the screen. The Nouse cursor will reappear and the user is placed in navigation mode. Nouse board button. Nouse application provides the user with the ability to enter text without the need to use the standard keyboard. The Nouse board is a keyboard that works with the Nouse application to allow a user to type hands-free. We will look at Nouse board in more detail later in the training. Recalibrate button. Clicking on the Recalibrate button brings the user to calibration mode. The recalibration of the Nouse cursor allows the user to reset the way the nose is being tracked. This only needs to be executed when the user's nose is not being tracked properly by Nouse application. Settings button. There are many options that can be modified in Nouse application. All of Nouse settings options are discussed in detail in Chapter 4 of your user manual. To change the settings, the user clicks on the Settings button and brings up the Nouse settings program. Disable button. Clicking on the Disable Enable button will stop and restart Nouse activities. To disable the application, the user clicks on the Disable button. The application will then ask the user to confirm if they would like to disable. If the user selects the Yes button, then the application is disabled. Exit button. The user can exit the application when they are finished. To exit the application, the user clicks on the Exit button. The application will then ask the user to confirm if they'd like to exit. If the user selects the Yes button, then the application is closed. Now let's take a look at how to use the Nouse board. The Nouse board is an on-screen configurable keyboard that works with Nouse application to allow a user to type hands-free. The Nouse board is configured to work in direct navigation mode only. That is, the movement of the Nouse cursor is mapped directly to the user's nose movements. The Nouse board keyboard consists of a grid of 15 cells, 5 columns by 3 rows. Each cell consists of 4 letters, numbers, symbols, or actions. When in Nouse board mode, the Nouse cursor moves from cell to cell in direct mode. In order to display the text that is typed, the Nouse board uses a second window located below the Nouse board to display and edit the text. This second window is called the Nouse pad. In order to select or type a letter, number, or action, the user must first move the Nouse cursor over the cell that has the desired letter, number, or action. To do this, the user simply needs to move their nose in the direction of the desired cell to activate that cell. Unlike in joystick mode, the user must continue to point their nose in the direction of the selected cell in order to keep it selected. A countdown will begin much like when clicking in the Nouse cursor mode. Once the countdown reaches 0, the user is moved into select mode. In order to select a letter in a grid, the user can select the desired letter by moving Nouse cursor in the corresponding direction. For example, if the user has selected the cell that contains the letters F, E, H, and G, the user can type F by moving the Nouse cursor left, E by moving up, H by moving right, or G by moving down. If the user does nothing and the countdown reaches 0, Nouse goes back to cell selection mode. We hope that you've enjoyed this video on the basic functions of Nouse. For more detailed instructions or for advanced features, please refer to your user manual.